Hey everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm looking back at the mega hit TV series MASH, and, more specifically, actor Larry Linville's decision to walk away from the show after just the 5th season. MASH originated as a novel in 1968 written by author Richard Hooker, who based the books upon his time as an army surgeon during the Korean War. Then, the novel was adapted to a film starring Donald Sutherland and Elliot Gould and directed by Robert Altman in 1970. And the movie, it was a huge hit. So, in 1973, MASH made its way to television screens and would go on to become one of the most popular television shows of all time. One of the main characters is Major Frank Burns, played to perfection by Larry Linville. Frank was a civilian doctor who, well, now he's embraced, or should I say, relishes military life. He is one of the higher-ranking officers at the Mobile Army Surgical Hospital, also called MASH, unit. Frank Burns is at constant odds with his tent mates and other surgeons, Hawkeye and Trapper John, and even later BJ Honeycutt, and he loves to remind them that he has a higher rank than they do. Additionally, Frank Burns, despite having a wife back in the States, is deeply in love with the head surgical nurse, Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan. And while the two of them are unified in their despise of the lack of respect that the other doctors seem to have about all things military, it's clear that Margaret does not like the fact that Frank is married and won't end things with his wife. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I think Larry Linville was perfect in his portrayal of Frank Burns. He is hilarious in this role, playing a character that you just love to hate. He could be arrogant, vindictive, whiny, and pathetic all in the same episode. He was a real weasel. With all of that said, I couldn't help but feel sorry for the guy when Margaret gets engaged to Colonel Donald Penobscot and is married towards the end of Season 5. Ironically, Linville had originally signed on to MASH with a 5-year contract. So when the show's producers offered him a 2-year contract extension at the end of Season 5, well, he decided to walk away. That's right, he walked away. Now, who would do that following a year in which the show finished with a top 5 spot in the Nielsen ratings? Well, I've read that he just felt that he had taken the character as far as he could, and so he decided it was time to pursue other acting opportunities. With Frank Burns' departure from the show, David Ogden Stiers joined the cast as Major Charles Emerson Winchester III, and while I liked Winchester, the show was already becoming a bit more serious in my opinion, and not quite as funny as it had been in the first few seasons. Larry Linville's acting career would go on, but never quite with the same level of success that he had with MASH. He would make quite a few guest appearances in a variety of television shows including The Rockford Files, Chips, The Love Boat, Fantasy Island, and Murder, She Wrote, just to name a few. Sadly, Larry Linville passed away on April 10th of the year 2000 at the age of 60 due to pneumonia, although he had lost one of his lungs due to cancer just a couple of years prior. I've read comments about Linville from fellow MASH stars Gary Berghoff and Jamie Farr, and both of them state that Linville was really one of the nicest people you could ever meet. It seems to me when I talk to my friends about MASH, there's a pretty even split between those who like the early seasons versus those who like the later seasons the best. I myself am probably in the camp of liking the earliest seasons the best. However, I do think that pretty much all seasons of MASH are pretty dang good television. I really look forward to reading your comments. Are you a bigger fan of the early seasons or later seasons of MASH? Do you even remember seeing Linville in any of the shows he made guest appearances in later on? As always, thank you so much for watching this video. It really means a lot to me. Also, I would really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to my channel, where I talk about movies, music, and TV shows from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Thanks again, stay safe, and have a wonderful day.